Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm Aslam Khair. I'm on behalf of Princeton Prep, and we are offering online classes on IELTS. It's basically this introductory classes, so you get some ideas. IELTS, GRE verbal, and also grammar, some grammar from GMAT. We have just started that class yesterday, and hopefully we might increase the number of classes for that grammar portion. Okay, so at the very beginning we are going to just have an overview of IELTS, and then we'll move on to other steps. Let's talk a little bit about IELTS, what we have on IELTS. Let's have a view on IELTS. So IELTS stands for International English Language Testing System, and the one I'm showing you this for academic module. Mostly there are two modules. One is academic, and the other one is general training. General training is for immigration purpose, and academic if you would like to apply to any university in the English-speaking country. So IELTS, the highest you can get is 9, and there will be 4 sections. IELTS. It will start with the listening section, then we will move on to the reading section, then the writing section, and the speaking section. Each of the section accounts for 9. The highest you can get is 9, and the lowest is 0. Depending on your performance, you will be calibrated between 1 to 9. And the listening, it will start with the listening. The listening, usually, if you talk about the paper-based one, it takes around 40 minutes, 30 minutes the kind of the exam, and 10 minutes for transferring your answers from your listening booklet to your listening answer sheet. So for listening, there will be 4 sections. There will be 40 questions. There will be around 10, 11 types of questions. Some questions are very similar though, and they will play audio for 30 minutes, and based on that audio, you'll have to fill in few blanks, just do some multiple choices, different kind of question. Also, write down some. Okay, so different kind of. So once you start doing that, it's not that much difficult. Okay, then you move on to the reading. There's no official break. Okay, there is no official break between listening and reading. Listening and reading, and the reading lasts for 1 hour, 60 minutes. There will be 3 passages. You have to cover for 3 passages. I'm talking about the academic one, and rather long passages. There will be 40 questions altogether, around 12 or 13 or 14 questions in each paragraph, and then you move on to the 12 or 13 types of questions. Altogether, there will be 12 more, and you have to prepare yourself that you can answer this question. Okay, and the highest you can get is 9. If you, for listening and reading, if you get 40 out of 40, each of the questions carry 1 mark. So there are 40 questions. If you get 40 of those right, or even 39 of those right, you get a 9 out of 9. If you get 37 or 38, you get 8.5. You get 35, 36, you get an 8. This is how it works for reading. Okay, what about the writing? The writing, then comes the writing. In the academic version, academic module, there will be 2 tasks, task 1 and task 2. In task 1, for academic module, you'll have to write a report, 150 words, that's a minimum. And you are expected to spend 30 minutes. and it could be a pie chart, it could be a bar chart. You could be given any of these: pie chart, bar chart, line chart, table chart, map, process diagram, or flow chart. And you will have to write an essay as well. The essay is task 2. The highest mark you can get in task 2 is 6. And it's going to be 250 words as a minimum. You can't write less than that. And if you write, you'll be penalized. And you have 40 minutes, 40 minutes to write this essay. And there are 5 types of essays. It's going to be an opinion essay, it's going to be a discussion essay, it's going to be a problem-solving essay, and we have sorry for the disruption. So problem-solving essay, there will be 5 essays: opinion essays, discussion essays, problem-solution essays, advantage and disadvantage essays, and double question essays. You don't have to write any of these. Just one. You'll be given one, and you don't have any option to choose. Choose which essay you are going to write. The same thing goes with it has one as well. You'll be just given one essay from the types of graphs I told you, and you don't have that option to choose any of these. Whatever is given, you'll have to write. And finally, these 3 sections will be tested on one day. If you're given a paper-based one, but if you're given a computer-based, you might be given the chance to sit for all those 4 sections in one day. Okay, so if you're talking about, most of the students now still give the paper-based exam because I think it's relatively easy for us, because we are more habituated in this type of essays. And the speaking, it takes place on a separate day. It lasts, the highest you can get is 9. It's 11 to 14 minutes. It lasts for 11 to 14 minutes. And part one is very general question. They're going to ask you a few questions about yourself, about your hobby, about your job, about your study, about your favorite food, all this stuff. And then come to part 2. Part 2 is a cue card. You'll be given a topic, and you'll have to speak on that topic for around 1 to 2 minutes. You'll be given 1 minute prep time. You'll be given white piece of paper and a pencil as well. And that's the cue card. And in the third part, another 4 to 5 minutes. The first one is 4 to 5 minutes. The second one 3 to 4 minutes, and the last part is also around 4 to 5 minutes. That's a cue card. Part 3 is follow-up questions. It's based on the kind of topic you have discussed with the examiner on your cue card. So the third part is kind of an extension questions on the cue card. Okay. So this is pretty much our 4 sections, and as I mentioned, speaking test take place on a separate day. It could be before the exam, the day you are sitting for listening, reading, and writing. It could be before or after that day. Okay. So we can just also have a look on the general training module. The general training module is this one. It's almost the same. It's not a very big. The listening is the same for academic and the general training module. The listening, the reading is a little bit different. You'll get a different set of. You'll be sitting in the same place, but if you're giving the paper-based one, but your reading copy will be a different one for GTs. Tailored course, GT module, 60 minutes, 3 sections, 5 passages. There will be, instead of 3 passages, you'll be getting 3 sections, but within that 3, you'll be getting 5 passages, 4 shorter one and 1 longer, and altogether it's the same 40 questions and types of 13 types of question will be tested. Okay, so it's a little bit different, and even the writing one is a little different with the task 1. The task 2 is the same for academic and general. Task 1 is task 1 is 150, should be a 150 word essay and 20 minutes. It's a letter, and for general training, they will suggest you to spend 20 minutes on a letter, while in the academic version, you're expected to write, a report on a chart. Okay, so here you have the task 2. The task 2 is the same as the academic one. It's also, the task 2 carries more mark than task 1. Task 1 is only 3, and task 2 is 6. We have the opinion, as I mentioned earlier, opinion essay, discussion essay, problem solution essays, adventure essays, advantages and disadvantages essays, and double question essays. And on a separate day, as I mentioned, unless we are giving the CBT, computer-based IELTS test, you'll have to learn the speaking. Speaking is it doesn't work on computers. It's a one-to-one. Person you will be talking with the person. It lasts for 11 to 14 minutes. We have, as I mentioned, part 1, part 2, and part 2, just like the academic one. Okay. So this is pretty much, our IELTS module. Okay. So let's move on to let's see, what kind of the listening test. This is a sample of a listening test. You see. So this is, this is part 1, 1 through, and this is the easiest one. One is, I think, it's more easier than the second part. The second part here, it starts with 11 through 13, and then 14 through 20. And sometimes this is a little bit difficult. The map, you don't always get the map, but if you get a map, it might be a little bit of a challenge. So you'll have to work on that, practice on that. And this is the this task. This starts from 21 to this section is 21 to 30. And it finishes here, and section 4 start from here. And this section 3 and section 4 is a little bit more difficult. Okay, there's a reading. I'm just showing you the reading. There'll be 3 passages, as I mentioned. There's the first passage. The first passage is relatively easy, and this is the second passage. The second passage is a little bit more difficult than the first part. And here, another 14 to 26, another 13 questions. And this third part is the return of artificial intelligence. This is also here also 13 to 14 question, and the estimate 40. Okay, so this is the writing part. It's the writing part. You see, this is the chart. This is a bar chart. They'll be giving you this bar chart, and you have to write. They'll give you a separate answer sheet. You should spend around 20 minutes for that, and this is the essay around 40 minutes. Okay, and the final is the speaking. This is a sample of the speaking test. This is a sample. This is a sample. This is part 1, and this is part 2, and this is part 3. So, okay, let's move on to our speaking section. Now we'll do some speaking section. Huh? We have a few candidates already. They are waiting, and we'll be able to start with that. Okay. Okay, so let me. Okay. Okay, Salman, how are you today? How is your day?
Sir, my day is fine, and I'm doing very good today. And how are you, sir?
Thank you very much. I'm okay, by the grace of Allah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Anything? Any question? Okay. Faria, how are you? How are you now? Faria, are you there?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Alhamdulillah, sir. I'm doing good.
You're doing good. So, have you been having fruitful days? Doing something productive that you think, or you're worried
Not
about
so
the future or anything like that?
As the symptoms are staying with me.
Oh, still?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
sir. It will continue like 2 months.
2
And
months.
it's
So
like chikungunya.
Oh my God.
If you have
Okay.
a fever, then it will again affect your symptoms are carrying with you.
Oh my
These
God. I'm
are
sorry to know that.
currently,
I'm sorry to know that. But okay, mostly what? Mostly is it fever?
Sir, not
Yeah.
yes, sir. I have a little bit fever, but not so serious. But I have tiredness, too much tiredness.
Too much tiredness.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If I want to go to work for a while, then I feel the tiredness too much and the back pain also. But
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. We pray for your quick recovery. Okay. So, Afroz, how are you? Hello.
Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I'm
How are you?
fine, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So, how's your? Okay. So, how's your family? They're fine too.
Yes, sir. They are
Okay.
fine and
Okay.
safe.
Fine. Okay. Safe. Okay, fine. Okay. So, we didn't sit today. So, you have time later tonight. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
If you get time, just let me know.
Okay,
Huh?
okay,
Just
sir.
SMS me when we'll be available, so we can have a
Okay, sir. I will.
session. Okay. Okay. So fine. Okay. This is Firuzaman. Hello. This is Firuzaman. You can hear me? Okay. No problem. Okay. So let's start some practice. Huh? Practice that will help us. And okay. I think the answers have changed so much, over this last 3 months. You'll have to make up something in many cases, say you're not telling it from your experience because you haven't done many of the, activities we are talking about. Many, I'm not saying all, but so it has been a very big change, so. Okay, so let me ask you, Faria, what kind of music do you like to listen to now? During the last 3 months, has it changed? What you used to listen to,
yes, sir.
and has it changed a bit?
Yes, sir. Sir, I always love to soft songs, love to listen soft songs.
Okay.
But this time I'm practicing so much that I will listen soft songs also because it smooths your brain or it can calm your brain so very much.
So what kind of music are you listening to? Mostly? What kind of music? What? I missed that part. So mostly soft. We used to
it varies.
listen to soft.
Sometimes it's yes, sir, soft music. It can be in any language,
I see.
our Bengali language or Hindi or English, but
Okay,
it must
anything.
be soft because it calms
It
your
calms you.
brain.
Okay, I see. Okay, fine. Afroz, Afroz, can I?
Yes.
Have you been listening to music lately for the last 2-3 months?
Yes, sir. I love to spend my leisure time listening music.
Listening to
But
music.
listen
Two.
to
You'll have to
music.
use that. Listening to.
but there is no special category that I'm following. But I love to listen to music according to my mood, and I prefer soft melodious music. I also a huge fan of classical music also.
Classical. Okay. Do you listen to Nazrul Giti or
Yes,
Rabindra
yes,
Sangeet? You
yes,
listen to
sir. I love to listen Nazrul Sangeet and also
also
Rabindra Sangeet
Rabindra Sangeet. Fine.
because they are like soft melodies, and
Soft
I
melody.
don't
Fine.
like the hard rock band type music.
Even
So
in
so
Bengali.
these
Even in
so these
Bengali.
are my favorite. I like in English, Bengali, Hindi, uh,
Okay.
this
What
type of
about different
music.
genres? Say Lalon. Lalon. Do you like Lalon as well? It's
Yes,
also
sir.
kind of soft as well.
Yes, sir. I also like that.
Okay, but you don't listen to Lalon all the time. Sometimes some songs or no,
No,
or
sir.
you're
It
a
depends on my mood.
mood. I see. Okay, sometimes.
Whenever I want to listen some lalon,
Fine.
then I would put them
Okay,
on.
fine. So it has become easy these days because the
Yes.
internet is there, and if you want, so it has been a big what. So our choice has diversified in some way. It has become more eclectic in
Yes,
nature.
sir. Sir,
Eclectic means
may
varied.
I
Mhm. Okay.
sir, we sometimes, sorry, some
Huh.
people years ago, we think Lalon is a disgusting song, or some people think Lalon is not so very much good song for us.
Hmm.
But if you actually think the actual meaning of these Lalon songs, you
Huh.
can know the actual meaning of the life or truth of the life. And you can go through the lines. When you go through the lines, you can actually realize the meaning of whole life. So Lalon is most important for us.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Rabindra
Fine.
Sangeet is also
I see. I see.
as
Okay. What
per
about
my
Salman? How are you?
Sir, I'm fine.
Oh yes, I have already asked you. So what
Yes,
about
sir.
what's your choice of music? Do you listen to Lalan Sangeet? Lalan?
Sir, I rarely listen to Lalon Shongit or Nazrul Shongit. Most of the time, I listen to music which are I love pop music, and sir, sometimes I listen to the rock and hip hop type songs, some rap songs.
Rap? Okay, probably not in Bengali, mostly in English, I believe.
Most
No,
in
the rap.
yes, sir. Most in English and sometimes Hindi and
I see. And lately,
rarely some
rarely some
Bengali.
Bengali as well.
Bengali,
Okay.
yes, sir. And sir, there are some songs which are yeah, in Bengali, but they are very more popular and they are related to our Bengali natok, and I also
Okay.
love those songs.
Love those songs.
Songs are also hip hop type and that enchant us in many ways.
Okay. So let me ask you another question. Afroz, can I ask you?
Yes, sir.
Um, uh, you mostly loved. Tell me about anything you didn't like in your school. Anything you didn't like in your school, or what did you really loved in your school?
Okay. School was the period in my life,
Hmm.
which is the best period. Most of the best period I passed in my
Hmm.
school. I have a lot of close friends. Usually they are used to people have one or two close friends, but in
Hmm.
school we are a circle of seven friends who are
Okay.
very close to each other.
Okay.
And the school friends, we though we are now scattered in different place and busy with our own life, but we also keep in touch with each also try to keep in touch with each other. So school memories are very touchy for me, and I always remember those good memories
Okay.
of
So fine.
school.
So that's the big thing. You got your friends. But what about anything you didn't like in your school? Anything you remember?
The one thing is the during the school days, we have
Hmm.
to get up very early in the morning because our PT period was starting at just
You
7 o'clock.
Okay,
Used
used to
to
start
start
at
start at 7 o'clock. That's
7
why
o'clock. Okay.
it is the only thing that I don't like, because I didn't like, because I'm a lazy I think I'm a lazy person, and I'm a
Okay.
uh, this early working and getting ready is bit boring for me.
Okay.
So this is the only thing.
Okay. We have a new, so say, Ichiwane Lee Corona. Are you there? Anybody, you'd like to speak out? You'd like to you'd like to participate? Okay, no, no problem. So, Faria, can I ask you?
Yes, sir, of course.
Uh, do you think people will consider that having lots of possessions is a sign of success in the future? That has been the case. If you have lots of things, do you think it's a sign of success? We have flags, we have cars, we have bank balance and everything. Do you think these are important these days to be considered successful?
Sir,
No.
success is always not depend on the positions, because actually success depends on what actually you are, and for the
Hmm. Hello? Okay. Okay, Salman, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear
Oh,
you.
oh, okay. So we just missed somehow. Okay, let me ask you another question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just a moment.
sorry, sir, sorry, it was disconnected. The
Okay,
net.
okay, okay, okay. Sorry. Huh. So yes, do you continue? So
Yes.
okay, what's most important for you to be successful in your?
To be successful, most important is how much motivated you are to do to gain your success, and how much possibility in you is staying. And if you want to be successful, you have a goal. First of all, you have a goal. You need a goal to
Hmm,
gain your success. So when you must need the dream for that goal. If you not have the dream, then you cannot reach your goal. So first of all, you have to make this goal, make this dream to reach your goal. I think, but sometimes it needs some positions, but it's not mandatory for your success.
okay, fine. Others, what do you think? Um, Salman, what do you think? You will feel yourself successful.
হুম।
You know.
Sorry, sir.
So
Sir,
so
can you repeat?
what are the things?
অসুবিধা
Is
নাই,
it?
আমাদের নলেজে দিয়ে এবার স্যারের নলেজে দিয়ে ই করবো আর কি।
Mhm. So what do you think?
হুম।
Salman. So is it car or is house or a good job or going abroad? What do you think will make you happy or will make you
Sir,
feel
first of
successful?
all, it depends on oneself. It depends on myself, and if I want to be really happy, I think I must gain I must have those things that I would like to have in my life. And currently, I want to pursue my master's program in Canada or in USA.
Hmm.
So if I can go through, uh, then I would then I can say that I'm very happy, or I am very much successful.
Okay.
And sir, I think to be successful in life, you have to have a certain goal, and you have to do your best, and you have to invest your full energy to get to that extent. Otherwise, you may not get successful in your life. if you have some laziness, or if you have some lackings in your dedications of getting through.
Okay, sir. We have a new is Babu Babu Raso. And are you there? Hello, Mr. Babu Raso, are you there? You'd like to participate? You'd like me to ask questions, Babu Raso? Okay. Okay, so let me ask then, Mr. Abdullah. Would you like me to ask questions?
Sure, sir.
Okay,
I
okay.
will be happy.
Okay, no problem.
Mm.
So some people think that friends can never be as important as family. Do you agree or disagree? What do you think? You know, can
Yes, I disagree with this proponent, because the people, the friends, if you can utilize your friends properly, then I think it will be a asset for you. And otherwise, it may turns your
so
danger for
you're trying to say that friends can be as well, close as family members as well.
as family members, because friends can be a good companion, and a good philosopher, good guide for
Okay, but so
shaping your
probably
career.
you have stayed outside of the country. So while you are staying there, you have to rely on your friends very much, especially if you go abroad and if
Yeah,
you're alone. If you're not with your family,
yeah,
I think
yes,
the friends become sometimes more than your
family
family,
member.
because they're the first person whom you refer to. If you are in any not problem, it doesn't have to be problem. Your feelings, and now probably it's easy these days. You have contact, you have all those social media, so you can contact with them. But there was a time many years back, even those who those who went outside for study, their family, their friends were their families. Okay, so I think it depends on the situation as well.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
okay. So okay, I'll come back to Ashna. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Okay, so how is the corona situation going on? Is it improving or not really? How's just in
Actually, it's not good.
it's not good.
It's yeah.
And people are getting worried, or they're getting more worried, I believe, no?
Yeah, they are getting more worried. Actually, they
Worried.
didn't believe it that there's a corona, but now it is serious.
Yes,
And actually, before, in the last few months, we just maybe I faced some suspected cases, but now in all my duties, I have suspected cases. I mean, the cases that have symptoms, but there's no confirmation that they are positive or not.
Definitely, situations are not very clear. It's not, it's becoming hazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so people can, they don't have anything concrete. That's the problem. That's so. Okay, so let me ask you questions. We can't help it in that way. On which occasions do people in your country usually give presents? So in our country, mostly on wedding ceremonies and birthdays. But in our country, what are the occasions do people usually give present to others in your country?
Okay, in wedding ceremony, or if someone for new kids, if someone how can I say that?
Baby. Okay, new child
new babies,
in a family.
Yeah.
Okay, they usually give presents.
Also, if someone, for example, if someone buying a new house and
people
are giving
a new house.
gifts. Yeah.
I don't think so. We have that in our country. So if does it happen? Say you're buying a new house, so the other people will give you presents for that.
Yeah, because some people, they are, for example, they are in a rent, and for the first time they are buying their house. So people, bringing gifts for them.
No, I don't think so. We have it in our country. I don't think so. Okay, so that's something new. Others in our country, if someone is buying a house, do we give presents usually?
So usually it is not it doesn't happen in our country, and if someone buy a new house, if he put a party or a ceremony type, then we bought a gift for him
Okay,
or her.
okay, I see, I see. So if they ask you, invite you
Yes,
in
sir.
that case, probably in case you might. Okay, fine. Okay, so whom can I ask? Mr. Okay. Um, so whom can I ask? Is Zingalala Zingalala Bala? Are you there? Are you there? You'd like to speak out? Zingalala Bala? You'd like to? I can ask you questions if you'd like. Okay, no problem. So, Afroz, let me ask you. So, how important is it for people to support and give aid to charities? Why or why not? Charities. What do you think in Bangladesh? Is it very common that people they give aids to charities?
So please pass the question to any
Oh,
other.
okay, okay, no,
Please
oh,
excuse me for some time.
no problem, no problem, no problem. Fine. Faria?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me ask you. So, how important is it for people to support and give aid to charities? Is it very important?
Yes, sir. It's very important for people to support and give it to the charities.
But
Because
in our country, we also give, zakat. That's also kind of charity. Is it a part? Is a kind of a charity, or you don't think it's not? Or
in a
that's
kind of
separate?
charity in religious sense, but all
Okay, so
of
it's a
us are
religious sense.
not Muslims, so it's not your it's not a
So
part of full charity, but it
okay.
kind of charity for Muslims. And
Okay, so in our country, do you think we are more into giving charities to other organizations? Is it very common?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because nowadays we are facing Corona, and in this situation, some people are misery so very much, and they're surviving, and they're trying for surviving, and
They're
some
trying to
people
survive.
has
And we know that many people, especially from cities, they have left. And I think it's a
even
reality. It's a reality, and they're moving to the village.
the poor people also, but the middle class people are also suffering.
Yes, yes.
with
I'm
this,
just saying, yes, the
Corona
middle class.
situation, and they cannot speak out about it as their middle class, and they cannot want the helping hand for them. So charity is very much important, and if people have support to give another people, I think it must uh, it's must
Okay, okay, fine. Mr. Himu, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. When was the first time you cooked something for yourself? Are you into cooking?
Yes,
You are
sir.
into
It
cooking,
was
probably.
actually, I was made into it, during my medical admission. The exam was really close, and I haven't had a scope to return to my hometown during it was in Eid ul Adha.
Okay.
So in that time, actually, our cook also absent. So
Was
I had
absent.
to,
Your cook was absent.
So I had to cook with myself.
Do you remember? Do you remember that day? That the very
Yeah,
first day
of
you
course.
cooked?
Everything. I mean, I went to Mina Bazaar and bought the beef, and I haven't had any idea about cooking, so I called my mom.
But did you have YouTube on your side? Because
no, in that time actually YouTube was not
that.
much.
Okay.
I mean, Wi-Fi was not that available.
Okay, I see.
So yeah, I called my mom. Actually, step by step, she helped me. Like, yeah, do this and do that, and after this, yeah, sure.
So could you eat it? Could you eat it after you cooked? Because beef, it's very difficult to, it's not. It doesn't come out that
I think
it doesn't
was,
come out that soft.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I think it was the most delicious beef I have ever tasted in my entire
Yeah,
life.
sometimes it might be, because
Yes.
if you're cooking,
I made it. Yeah.
you made it. So that was the beginning. But what about the after that? Say, have you become, you got used to cooking later on?
Yes, sir. Time
Now,
to time.
okay, let me tell you.
Yes.
Now you're a good cook. Do you consider yourself a good cook?
Not a good cook, but a moderate, maybe, sir. Alhamdulillah.
So do you cook for yourself or no? Or
No,
someone?
not. Obviously, we have cook right now, because every day is not possible. It's so time
It's not
consuming.
possible.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
But
it's
whenever
time
I
consuming.
chance
That's
to,
the thing.
yeah, whenever I get chance to treat my, treat someone with my cook. So yeah, I really want to do that. Yeah, it's a pleasure to treat someone, yeah, which is made by yourself, and if they just
Okay,
give you
fine.
compliment, it's a major thing.
Okay, so Ashna, can I ask you?
Yeah, sure.
No, okay, so are you good at cooking, or do you remember, on which day you cooked a full dinner, anything, or are you into cooking? Do you know how
Yeah,
to
I
cook?
can cook. Yeah, I can.
Almost
And
everything, So
not
what's a typical?
everything.
What's a typical lunch or dinner in your country? What's a typical? Kind of what are the things that
Type of
you
food, I
eat
mean.
in general?
You
So we
mean
have
mentioning
curry.
the name of the cookie? The
Yeah,
cooks?
in our country we usually have mostly we have what?
Rice.
In our country, rice, curry, pulse,
Lentil.
lentil,
Okay.
and or vegetables. So what are
Mhm.
the items you usually have?
Actually, most of the time, people in my country, people are cooking in the lunch. But for my family, we usually cook for dinner because all family members are attending
Oh, I
for
see.
eating together. Yeah.
So
But
what
for
about
lunch,
lunch? What
yeah,
about lunch?
we are trying to just eating a simple thing,
Oh,
not
I see.
a heavy meal. Because
Not heavy meal.
maybe
I
sometimes
see.
it's just me and my mom, maybe just with my sister.
Okay,
My
so at
father
your
and my
home.
other brothers are not attending, they are
Okay,
working.
they're not.
Yeah.
They're working. I see.
And
But
most
for
of the
other
time,
families,
they're having the breakfast with fruits. I mean, watermelon, apple, or like that.
Okay, so
breakfast, yeah.
I see. So
This is my
do you know how to cook a full dinner? Do you know? Do you usually
yeah,
cook
I know.
sometimes? You
Yeah,
know.
sometimes I used to do it because that I guess it my mother were sick, so I had to cook
Okay, you had to
for lunch and dinner. Yeah.
I see.
So
Okay, so
I know how to cook, but I usually I don't like cooking. Even I
you
have to
don't-
do it every
So
day.
yeah, I think it's time consuming. Just 1 or 2 days fine, but when you're cooking for every day, probably it becomes a punishment. Cooking
Of
every day.
course.
Of course.
I think it's
Sometimes I'm
very
telling
difficult.
that.
One of the most difficult thing in the world.
How about you? May I ask?
Oh,
Do you like to cook?
no, I'm not good at that. I don't
Okay.
cook. But probably I cook pretty well. Because
Okay.
when I was in United States, I even worked for a restaurant for some time.
Okay.
I was a chef there, chef. Just
Oh my
Wow.
so-called chef.
God.
So-called. It was a Japanese restaurant.
Oh
So I came to know about the basics. I know all this,
my God.
sauces and everything. But if I cook something, if someone eats, I'm not saying, they remember it. They remember it because it becomes different because the way I cook it, even the same item, I will cook in different way in different on different days because I don't know how to cook it, but I can assure you the final product will be something very different.
After this pandemic, we will be in your home too.
Probably no, I'm not good. I will, and
No,
especially, but
it
I
means
have
not
that
too good.
advantage. I experimented with all those
Sir, we
different
will
kind of sauce,
manage.
different kind
Sir,
of
we
8 or
will
9 type of
manage.
sauce.
No problem.
Sometimes I add this one. I have that.
Yes, sir.
I know that something is missing. If I give that, and it could
Okay.
be very unconventional, but it comes out different.
Okay,
A
sir.
little bit
So
different.
let us come
Okay.
to your home after this
Hopefully,
pandemic, please.
Yes,
hopefully,
sir,
most
we want
welcome.
to taste the different foods.
Yes, sir.
Different
Okay,
taste.
but that's why whenever I go to any restaurant, I'm not happy with their
Oh, yeah.
food. It seems that I think
You
it's
know,
not.
because you are the gourmet here.
Yeah, but I experimental. Even I had a friend of mine. We
Yes,
used to
sir.
work together. Now he's a big chef. Big
Okay.
means he has his own television. But I can tell you that whatever he cooked even at that time,
Yes.
food was much more tastier. I'm sure because I had something in my hand, so I used
Yeah.
to add something, so it become different.
Sir, we never know that. I mean,
Okay, fine.
okay.
Okay,
Thank
okay.
you,
Let's
sir,
see. Let's see.
for sharing your story, and
Fine.
definitely we will
Okay,
test it,
so
inshallah.
let me ask you, Mr. So, Abdullah Bhai, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Can you share your, cooking experience and your
Oh,
expertise?
no, I have little bit experience about cooking. After passing my graduation, postgrad from University of
Hmm.
Chittagong,
Okay.
when I resided in a mess with my friends and roommates, sometimes we used to cook all together because the
Yeah, sometimes the
maid
cook was
servant who
um,
she absent almost
absent.
15 days, and that's why she made us a cook on the
Cook.
time.
Okay, I see.
After that, I didn't experience any cooking because after getting the job, I am not even washing any clothes because
Okay.
I
So,
don't have
what was the
much
last time you
time.
cooked? What was the last time you cooked? Do you remember what was the last time you had to cook or you cooked something? Do you remember or no? Or you can't even recall? Within a year or 2 years or 3 years?
Nowadays, and even last 10 years, I didn't cook.
Oh, 10 years. You're lucky. Okay, 10 years.
Yeah,
So,
even in the UK, I didn't cook there.
oh, you
Because,
didn't cook, not for a single day.
not for a single day, because I stayed in Nottingham, and sometimes my wife and my aunt.
Oh, your wife was with you
No.
there.
Oh,
Oh,
yes, my family, but they stayed in the London.
I see. I see.
In
Okay.
my uncle house.
In your uncle's house. That's
They
good.
used to, my wife and my aunt, they used to cook, but
Cook and send you.
that's why
And
I'm.
okay. So you're spoiled. Okay. So so do you think you should have? It's better. So you're not a good cook.
No, I'm not a good cook, but
Good.
I can
You can survive.
survive. Yes, because I know the mechanism
the
from my mom
mechanism. I see.
and from my friends, and one of my roommate was
Good.
good.
Sometimes
He's
they are
added to,
working in restaurants as well, in Bangladeshi or Indian restaurants. You might even have. I don't know.
but I used to take food because when I worked in the Gulshan division, I used to go to the restaurants, several restaurants.
Okay.
And I think I have tested even Turkish
And
dishes.
Turkish dishes as well.
And I'm very famous, and my wife also used to take the Indian dishes. And
The Indian dishes.
used to,
Okay.
we,
So
we
what's your favorite dish? Kachi biryani, pulao, Morocco pulao, or what?
Kachi is the best
Is
one.
it best one?
Yes, Hyderabadi biryani.
We haven't been going to any probably this kind of big occasion for the last 2 or 3 months, 3 to 4 months.
Yeah,
All of us, it never happened probably.
Yeah,
Nothing
I used
like
to
this.
spend the weekend, particularly the Friday, to take some foods in the restaurant
Some
with
food.
family. I used
Family,
to
okay.
do
So our
this.
life has changed, in a big way in the last.
Yeah.
I don't know, let's. No,
Yes, the whole
it seems
world.
that it seems that we were, even then we were not always saying we live in a perfect world, but still is a world. Now it seems it's not a world, huh?
Obviously,
We can say that everything was perfect at that time, before 4 months or
but I
5 months.
think it's a good lesson for us, for the whole human.
Yes,
kind,
something,
because we have to change our behavior. We have to change our attitude and our daily activities as well, because our country, the people are not very much cautious about
aware about
the
many of these
cleanliness
aspects.
and the sanctity. And I think we have to look at this nowadays. And the coronavirus gave
Yes.
us a good lesson how
A
to
very good lesson. Okay, let's
keep the clean around us.
okay, let's see what really happens. Okay, so let me ask you a few more questions. Anybody you'd like to speak out?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just
Yeah.
okay.
Few participants.
Okay, so whom can I ask?
जय हिंद दोस्तों,
So you can ask me first.
अपना साइकिल चोर
Hello.
Yes, sir.
सुधरेगा नहीं ना, क्या करेंगे फिर?
Oh,
जब इन
okay.
लोग सुधरते नहीं तो फिर भाव को बिगड़ना पड़ता है,
Someone is from India.
आ जाते हैं
You're from okay.
अली बाबा, नकली देशभक्त सब आ जाते हैं।
Someone is from
आपको चुनना मेरे को ही पड़ता
Sir, can you mute his microphone?
Okay. Okay, now let me ask you, Salman. Salman, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hello?
Salman.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What are the advantage and disadvantage of making films of real life events?
Of real life events. I think, sir, if we make a film on real life events, it gives us a message that we could have such thing in our life, or we should not commit suicide on certain certain situations in our life. If we watch such real life events related movies. And
Okay.
the disadvantages, sometimes are we after watching a movie which is full of criminology, and we
Criminal activities and all that.
yes, criminal activities, we see that how we can kill a person, or how we can betray others, which is also came from a real life. So I think that thing should be a disadvantage of a real life movie.
Okay. So I think that conversion is whom can I ask? Faria, can I ask you? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Faria, would you say that schools for young children have become more or less competitive since you were at that age? Why or why not? Would you say that
I
schools
think,
for has it become more competitive or not really?
yes, sir. In my school life, I was also competitive, and it's a habit of every student in their school life. They must be competitive, because parents make their mind set like that. You have to be competitive. So
Okay, so
competitions
you
are
think
there.
that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
In the schools, their competitions are different between the university level competitions. So you cannot match with each other. But in the school life, there are more competition.
Okay.
I think so.
Fine.
Because in the result, your next life result will depend on your school life results. So you have to be competitive.
Okay, Ashna, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Ashna, is it a good thing to give prizes to children who do well at school? Does it help, or it's not a big deal? How do you think?
I think it's motivating them.
Okay. So
Yeah.
in different ways, even in the classroom, you have stars and everything.
Even for the teacher and even for the parents. when I was in school, my father so many times he gave me many gifts because of my marks. So
Mark. Okay.
he always he motivated me by this way.
Fine. Okay. So, Mr. Abdullah Bhai, can I ask you?
Yes, sir.
Abdullah Bhai, so you're even your daughter probably. I don't know whether you have a son as well. Okay, so
No, I have only one daughter.
Only one daughter. Okay, so and is she going to school or no? She was going.
She is going to school. She is reading in class 2.
Class 2. Okay, so how is going to impact this 3 or 4 months gap?
Yes,
how is going to impact? How you're thinking about that?
This lockdown has huge impact upon her because she is not getting chance to play with her friends. And she missed a lot her school and his school's playground. And she is also derailed from his daily routine.
What about she? Is she doing online classes? Is she getting online classes?
She is not participating in the online classes because she is getting the materials, the stuff of the classes
okay.
on the YouTube. And
I see.
Studying, but it's very difficult for me and for her mother.
Is it working? Is it really working? What's the real story?
The real story is that she is completely out of her routine activities and about her study. She is not like to study.
Okay. In one word, what do you say? I don't know. The depression. Think about depression. Depression doesn't go with young kid, but
she deeply
people because they're not playing. We can understand. We can play. But they play. Place. Many of the students, they go to school just to
play.
Just to play with their
play kids. Is the main key motivation for
and they will be okay. So it might have a big impact. I know on many students. And you'll
parents
have to
are suffering for this because they are not able to keep them on the table and on the reading.
And sometimes they are getting angry with them because
yes, they are very much angry, and sometimes she tries to cry, and she deeply.
I think life has become difficult for them as well as for parents
as well.
Life is already difficult, but if these simple things, rather simple things, become difficult, so it's
It's really difficult for everybody, everybody, not for the people of our country. I think it's all over the world.
All over the world.
And the last consequence, I think, in future consequences that regarding the employee, a huge amount of people will lose their job, and the students will not be able to study. They are expecting country.
We really don't know what's going to happen.
The consequence, I think, in future, this year and the next year, I think it will be tough for us who are expecting to study in abroad as well, and we have to maintain a good restriction, and we have to pass huge obstacle, and we have to obey the rules and regulations.
Let's see what happens. We just simply can't imagine. That's the problem. Okay, Ebru, are you there?
The economy will disrupt, and the economic depression.
Let's hope it doesn't go that way, but if it goes, we can't help it. Nothing else. Okay. Ebru, are you there?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, can I ask you just one question? How have games changed from time when you were a child? When you were a child, the kind of games you used to play.
Can you again ask?
Okay, have you this one? I'm asking you this question. How have games changed from the time you were a child? How it has changed?
When we was a child, we generally we are playing outside, but now children playing online games.
Online
For
games, okay.
yes, this for this it is not funny because I think in outside playing is so funny and interesting. You are learning a lot of things. You are learning helping, but now it is not like this.
Okay. Okay, so you think things were better when we were kids? We used to
Yes,
play.
yes.
Okay. What about the security part? You know, when we were kids, you know, our parents could let us go, you know, go anywhere. But especially in our country, you know, people, especially parents, they're a little bit more worried about, you know, just usually in at least the middle class families to let children go wherever you play. Does it also happen in your country? Has it changed like that?
Yes, yes. Normally, when we was child, we always go outside. Just we and our friends. But now, family
Don't allow them.
go with us because very dangerous now
Very
for
dangerous.
children.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Life has changed. Life has changed in a big way. In a big way. Okay. So just what can I ask? Afroz, uh, are you
Yes,
there?
sir. Yes.
Okay. Let me. So do you prefer to have one particular friend or a group of friends? What do you think? Which one is better?
I think one should have a group of friends rather than one particular friend. But mostly, always there is one close friend.
I think
But
sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't go in the way you want. Sometimes,
yes,
you know, in a situation, you might have 5 friends, but later on, you might lose all the friends. Okay, so I think life is very, you know, you might move away some other places. You know, your profession might change. But what's
yes,
better? It's better to. I don't think you have an option. Too much of option. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Do you think like that? Is it like
yes,
that?
sir.
No,
Yes,
so in
sir.
your case,
Uh,
how many friends do you have now? You know, but you are in a family, so you know you got married and you have your own family. So how many real close friends do you have from your childhood?
real close friend from childhood.
Not childhood. It doesn't have to be childhood, but real close friend.
There are hardly 4 or 5 friends,
4 or 5.
I think I
Okay, so
can
you
say.
contact them almost what, a week,
Yeah,
within a week.
yeah, yeah.
Talk to them.
Whenever
4 or 5.
I want to talk to them, I call
Okay,
them.
that's
Mostly four
fine.
or five friends.
4 or 5. So
But
are they all of them in your profession? You know, are they or not necessarily?
no,
Not necessarily.
not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Okay. So fine.
But I prefer I one should have a group of friends
A
because
group of friends. Yes, yes, yes. From
of
the
different circle or different
different circle.
profession.
Okay, it's
You
better.
have
You know,
to
if you have
maintain the relationship with
maintained
friends
relation,
because you need them.
you
You
need
don't
them.
know.
Okay, you know when okay, they might need you. You know, you might need them. I think. Okay, so okay, Afsana, how are you? Afsana, are you there? Hello.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam. How are you?
I'm fine. And you?
Thank you. I'm safe. No, I'm safe.
That's great.
Okay, that's safe. Okay, so do you consider yourself a very humorous person, Afsana? Are you a very funny person,
In the
or
middle of that.
you try to be funny? Do you think funny
Yeah.
person are
I
better friends, good friends? You know,
I always
people
try
like
to
them.
be good friends, but not necessarily all the time that I try to make people laugh. I tried, but maybe I can't.
Do you envy anybody you know who's very funny and everybody likes him or her? Do you have
Yes.
any friends?
Yes,
We
Shakil is there.
huh?
Shakil is that kind of person.
Shakil, okay, we all have some friends, and not envy.
Yeah.
I'm saying that we also enjoy them, and sometimes we think why I'm not like that. You know, they're funny. So
Yeah.
can you learn to be funny, or it's something you need to have it within you?
if we can try, then we can learn something about their qualities and the way they are behaving. But yes, something, some ideas and the way of expression, or the way we want to talk with other people is necessary to have in yourself. So yeah, this is a very much middle of the thing. You need to balance and keep trying to improve in this type of a skill.
Okay, okay. So, and do you read comic books to, to learn how to entertain others? Comic books,
No.
those. Does it work?
I,
Does it work? You read all
maybe
those comics and then jokes, not comic books. I'm talking about joke
jokes.
books,
Jokes
joke
books.
books.
I haven't read that type of joke books, but yeah, in my school I used to read, but I right now I don't feel like.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay, guys, can we end it here today? We'd like to go for a reading. Reading? Are
Yeah.
you okay with a reading? Okay,
Yes,
let's,
sir.
because
I
reading
think
you'll have
we
to get.
should move
I
to
think speaking. What do you think about speaking? Speaking is easy, or reading is easy? I think
sir.
speaking. Speaking.
Speaking is easier
More
than reading.
I think Bangladeshis are good at speaking these days. It has changed. I think these days, because the internet is here, we watch more English movies, all these, and even the Hindi movies, they use lots of English as well.
Yes,
Even
sir.
this, they have those talk shows, Coffee with Karan and all those. And I don't watch those that much, but sometimes, even they use a lot of English as well. So people are becoming, I think, speaking wise, it's improving. I think it's improving English, but I think reading is a different skill. You'll have to uh, know the
You have to
vocabulary and
work on
everything.
it.
But we have started a grammar class as well. You know, I don't know how many of you know. We just had a
Yeah.
class. You might try it out if you think that it might help you. Just check it out. We will do some classes. Okay, so it's part of a
Teacher,
GMAT.
I think this grammar is really useful because while we are speaking, we don't know our mistakes, the grammatical mistakes.
But there's a caveat. Caveat means there's a warning. The kind of grammar we are dealing, you'll have to stick to that. You'll have to do 10 or 15 classes. Then you'll see,
Yes,
things
sir.
are helping you. It's just not one classes. Because if
Yeah.
it's just one classes, what happens? I tell you, you remember, the next day you forget it. You'll have to
Yeah,
practice it.
exactly.
If need be, I'll be giving you more materials after that. Follow through material. So if you practice those, believe me, because I'll give you with all the answers, all the explanations. Have you got some? I sent you the answers today. Have you got it? Most of you. Okay.
Yes,
Anyways,
sir.
I didn't check.
I will send you the.
I checked it. I mean, the
Okay.
Manhattan. Yeah, yeah, of course.
Okay, it might help you. It might help, but just believe me, stick to that 3 to 4. That works. Other than that, let me tell you, whatever you have learned so far, you can improve. That's finished. If you now is the time. Now there's no point in reading grammar rules. No, now it's practical. You already know the rules, but you don't know how to apply that. Now, if you keep on practicing, you'll see that yes, it's being used in this way. So let me practice, and we are going to see after 2 or 3 classes with ing
Yes, sir.
structures, different kind of structure that when you are reading, you are understanding, but you can't write those. You don't write those.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start with some
Sir, may I
speaking.
just,
Please.
sir, did you take the GMAT classes? I was absent because of sickness.
Yesterday was GMAT class.
Yesterday, GMAT yesterday. Yesterday we had a
Sir, have you fixed
GMAT.
the time?
We haven't. No, at the same time. It was, I think, 7:30. 7. On that day, yesterday we did some speaking practice. Then we move on to a 7. Just think it's
Sir,
7, but
our day.
or day. Are we going to have a GMAT class tomorrow? You want to have a class tomorrow?
Yes, sir. Every alternative, I think 2 days a week or 3 days a week. I mean,
2 days.
like,
Okay.
yeah.
So what about IELTS? We have been doing some IELTS. So we
We,
can do three-day IELTS.
3 days IELTS and 2
2 days GRE and
Yes,
2 days
sir.
GMAT. Is it okay for now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So one thing we can do. Let's have a GMAT class tomorrow as well.
Yeah, of course.
And Faria, if you have missed the class,
Yes,
if
sir.
you want to cover it, you contact me. We can even sit one-to-one if need be.
Okay, sir.
Get it? Don't worry. You know, I have already sent it. You know, check out the check out the
I
the
already
homework.
checked, but I was absent. That's
Okay,
why.
no problem. If you have
Sir,
problem, read
sir,
it
we
out.
can have yesterday's class on Facebook as well,
Oh
sir.
yes, you
Yes, sir.
can
The
Recorded.
find
live
it, huh?
classes are
Has
very
it recorded, sir?
Yes.
Yes, it was recorded. I think
Okay.
it's. Did you find it?
That's good.
Is it recorded? Yes,
Okay.
it was recorded, I believe.
Okay.
So you can check it. If you don't understand, just tell me. I can even take one-to-one Zoom class.
Okay, sir.
You know, I will make it understand. Don't worry. Okay.
How
As
could
long as you are interested, that's the point. If you're interested, I'm there. But if
Yes,
you're not
of
interested,
course.
I can't help you. You know, that's the way. Okay. Anybody? Are you
so
saying
how could
anything?
how could I get the recorded class?
Oh, you will have to go to Princeton Prep probably, huh? Just in Facebook, go to Princeton Prep. Salman, is this how it works?
Sir, sorry, sir, I wasn't following.
Oh, how do you get to a recorded or video?
Sir, I get notifications when the Princeton preparation is online. So
Online.
I just followed yesterday's class through Facebook.
Oh,
But sometimes it's shared. The classes are shared, but not in the same day.
Oh, it's on the same day. Okay. Oh, shared. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will talk it over with the other person, and I'll let you know how to. If you want to get it, if you miss the class, if you want to get it, or okay, yeah, that's. Or we can even have a, you know, sometimes in GMAT, if you want, you can have another day class. You know, the same thing. If anybody misses that class, you can have a, you know, recap on that class as well. We can do that. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, don't worry. So first, you know, let's move on to some writing. Huh? No, sorry, reading. We are going to do some reading. So which one we are going to do? We are going to cover this one today. This is the passage. This is the passage that we are going to follow. So this is the true cost of food. We have 8 paragraphs. And today's question is this one: which paragraph contains the following information? This is pretty common. You might expect to get one of these. And this one takes away lots of time. That's why you have to become quite good at that. Also heading, as well as what? Heading, this one, and yes, no, not given. Listen, just, I can do it. This is not enough. I can do it fast. That's also important. Eh? You have to be quick at that. Yes, no, not given. So we can practice this one. We can practice this one, and we can also practice this side. This is what? This is a kind of a summary. Okay, so how do you do that? So the first thing I would always suggest you, this is safe. I'm not saying this is the only way. If you talk about me, if I have a, this is the second one. This is the second one. So how much time should we spend for the second one? I think, you know, the first one, try to finish it within 12 to 13 minutes, but you know, you can take 10 or 15 minutes because sometimes it's difficult to finish within 10 because it's the easiest one. The second one, you'll target it to finish it within 15 minutes. Let it be 18 minutes, no problem. The third one, try to finish it within 70 to 80 minutes. Let it be 22 minutes. So if it works like that, you might feel that you are finishing it within 50 minutes because 10 minutes it will take you to what? To write the answers in the answer sheet altogether. So together within that 1 hour, you'll have to also write the answers to the answer sheet. So when you are writing the answer sheet, can you also solve the passage? No. Basically, you are getting 50 minutes, around 50 minutes to solve the passage. But it is together. You are doing it together. But still, I'm saying if you divide it, writing and solving. So it's around 50 minutes or 51 or 52 minutes and 8 minutes for writing the answers. Okay, so how do you do that? What I'm going to do, first I'm going to What is it? Professor Pretty, that's a pretty. Okay, this is pretty, pretty. This is the first time is this pretty means nice looking, this one?
No, sir.
Yeah.
PR, or
No.
let's say different spelling? PRETTY or PRETTY?
TY.
P.
Pretty. Okay. PRETTY. No.
This is pretty.
That's PRETTY. Okay. Present face. Okay. And
I
this
think
is?
it's name.
No, I'm
Yes.
saying, okay, but is it the same thing? Yes.
Yeah, it's the same.
No, it's not very common. Mr. Pretty. Okay. So this is the first time I checked out of this name. Professor Pretty concludes. So Professor
So it
concludes
can
that
be pretty.
this is pretty.
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 No,
Okay,
it's the same.
Okay, just forget it. Okay, let's start. Professor Pretty concludes that our are higher than most people realize because we make 3 different types of payment. So our something is higher than most people because we make 3 types of payment. So here, what should be there? In the answer we are looking for, Professor Pretty should be there, and what? I think higher and payments. So these are the keywords.
Payment.
These are the keywords. If we find that, we know that probably, and these are all will be in a order. So if we can find this one, so we know that starts from there. So it helps us. So we are not going to start with this one. What we're going to start with, I think from here, but it helps us to get some idea that I'm looking for Professor Pretty, and they're talking about a type of payments, and one is higher. Okay, something like that. Okay. What about the next one? Yes, no, not given. So which one we are going to? How many? It's better to do 2. 2, why? Because what if the first one is completely not given? Then we might be in trouble. So yes, no, not given. Several species of wildfire. So they're talking about species of wildfire in British countryside are declining. Wildlife. Sorry, why I'm saying wildfire. Okay, several species of wildlife in the British are declining. So is it true, false, or not given? So several species. Okay, countryside. Countryside is very important. Countryside, British countryside, and declining, and wildlife species. We should also look for the second one. The taste of food has deteriorated in recent. So, do you think in common sense it says the taste of food has deteriorated in recent years, or
No,
is this not true?
Not
Does
true.
common sense helps?
No, sir.
Okay, listen.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you try? Can we try for common sense?
Yeah, of
and
course.
later check that whether it helps.
Yeah.
Then
Sometimes it
if you are
helps.
in a situation where you don't have anything to do, and can we just put on yes, no, not given?
Yes.
I'll be writing it here. We are not. You cannot put several species in the countryside declining. This could be true. What do you think? Is true or no?
False.
Common sense. It says yes or no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I think yes, probably, because everything is declining in the world. Natural. Just we'll check it later. The taste of food has deteriorated in recent years.
No.
Well, yeah, not given or no. To which one?
I think it's yes.
It's also yes in some
Yes
sense,
or not
because
given?
there are also some
Or not given. Not
Which
given.
one? Number
This
18?
one? Yeah, we are guessing. 19. We are just guessing.
19.
Later we'll
maybe
check it.
it may be not given.
Not given? Okay, let's see. Not given. Okay, we'll check it later on. The financial costs of environmental damage are widely recognized. I think, is it recognized? No. I think nobody knows. Or false.
No.
Maybe not given.
This is a very thematical one. That's why
This is what?
maybe
This is not given. Okay, let's see. No problem, because we are going to check it out. And one of the costs calculated was illness caused by one of the costs. I think this is true because, oh no, we need to have at least one false. I think one should be false. I think this is yes. One, let's make one no.
20.
Which one is no?
19.
Are widely recognized? I think this is no. Let's see.
20.
No. Okay, we'll check it out later on. Don't worry. Okay, so here they are talking is declining. Species declining and the taste of food has deteriorated. And so food, and this is another thing. Okay, so for the time being, you can forget it. And what was that? Here it was prophesied that higher types of payments. Now let's move on to this one. How do you start? A cost involved. Should we read this one? I don't think it helps much. It doesn't help much. If you read it properly, this might help. Okay, so there are two types of questions. What are those? There are two types of questions. What are those two types of questions? This is headlines, heading. Check the headings and
For
this
more
kind of.
than 40 years, the cost of food has been rising.
Okay, you get my point? So this one and another one is what? That heading and this one, which paragraph? Always read the paragraph. I will always ask you to read the paragraph because if you start reading the paragraph, what helps? You can even cover, at least to some extent, this one as well as this one. You become, you're multitasking. IELTS is about at least reading, multitasking. So now let's read. Let's read it together. Okay. What we're going to read, we're going to start with this one. Hey. Okay, so let's start. Let's start. Let's read it properly, and then we'll move on. So here, what you're looking for? Who can tell me? What you're looking for? Here, but whatever may be the case, the first line is quite important. The topic sentence, what they're talking about, that gives you understanding better. Okay, so just a moment. Okay, let's read. Okay, for more than 40 years, the cost of food has been rising. For more than 40 years, the cost of food has been rising. Fine. It has now reached a point where a growing number of people believe that it is far too high, and that bringing it down will be one of the great challenges of the 21st century. That cost, however, is not immediate cost. In the West, is not immediate cash. So this is important. I think it's not they're talking about this. They're not only talking about the monetary one, but other aspects as well. In the West, at least, most food is now far cheaper to buy in relative terms than it was in 1960. The cost is in the collateral damage. What is collateral? Who can tell me collateral?
Collateral means branch.
Okay, means in a bigger perspective.
Yeah, perspective.
Bigger perspective. We understand. We can. It's difficult to define the exact, but we understand the collateral damage of the very method of food production means the environmental. I think the environmental and other costs that have made the food cheaper. So while we are trying to make cheaper, then what happened? What's happening? In fact, the cost that we are damaging the environment, it's very high. So we have to add it up with the cost of food. Then literally what happened? What's happening? The cost of food is increasing. I believe that's the case. In the pollution of water, the innervation means this is a GRD word.
Invasion. I mean,
weakening or damaging of soil, the destruction of wildlife, the harm of animal welfare, and the threat to human health caused by modern industrial agriculture. So they're talking about it's not the only cost. The cost has decreased, the food cost, but the other cost has increased. If you add it up, the cost of food has kind of increased. So which one is the correct answer? Which one is the correct answer? Is it? Can we find that information here?
The term used to describe hidden cost. 16.
17.
So we are looking for whether we have paragraph A. Let's say one effect of chemicals on the water source. No, this is one effect. No.
No, sir. The term used to describe hidden costs.
Oh, which one? Which one? Which one?
16, number 16.
The
16.
term used to use hidden cost. What? Which one? Which is the hidden cost?
The cost of the collateral damage of very methods.
Collateral.
No, not collateral.
Is there any term?
Oh.
I don't think so. Let's move on. One thing you can do, if you want to think for the time being, if you want to think that could be answer, what you can do, put A, but put a question mark.
Question mark. Okay.
You're sure, but not 100% sure. You're thinking that might be. Okay, let's read. Have you got any from the second and third part of the questions? No. The second, we haven't got it. Asa, now let's move on to B. Anybody you would like to read? Mr. Rabbi, you want to read?
Yes, sir, of course.
Okay, why don't you read it out and let's read.
Okay. First, mechanization, the mass use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, then monocultures, then battery rearing of livestock, and now genetic engineering. The onward march of intensive farming has seemed unstoppable in the last half century, as the yields of produce have soared. The damage it has caused has been colossal. What's the meaning of colossal, sir?
Colossal is big. আচ্ছা আমি পড়ি তাহলে হ্যাঁ আমি পড়ি
Okay, sir. No problem,
no
sir.
problem আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে. Let me read it. First, mechanization. We know that. Then mass use of chemical fertilizer and pesticides. Then monocultures. Monocultures, probably just one type of crops again and again and again. Then battery rearing of livestock. What is battery rearing? I think it's not natural. It's not natural. What we are doing is a commercial rearing. Commercial. I think it's something like that. Not natural. Batteries. You are what? You are battering means you are
beating someone.
Beating. Yes,
yeah,
it's
beating
not natural.
someone. Yeah.
And now genetic engineering. The onward march of intensive farming has seemed unstoppable in the last half century, as the yields of produce have soared, but the damage it has caused has been colossal. In a big. In Britain, for example, many of our best-loved farmland birds, such as the skylar, they have vanished from the huge stretches of the country. So this is one answer. That's yes, no, not given. So it's true. Huh?
Sure.
You say it's true in that one. So what we can do, we can make a mark that it starts. That one starts from here. But we are not solving this one now. As have even more wildflowers and insects. This is a direct result of the way we have produced our food in the last floor. Thousands of miles of hedge rows, thousands of ponds have disappeared from the landscape. The filth of salmon farming has driven wild salmon from many of the sea lochs and rivers of Scotland. Natural soil fertility is dropping, and in many areas because of continuous industrial fertilizers and pesticide use, while the growth of algae is increasing in lakes because of the fertilizer runoff. So what they're talking about, I think, they had described the damage done. Okay, so do we have anything like that?
Chemical.
What about B? Can we
17. One effect of chemicals on water resources.
17. One effect chemical on water sources. One effect of chemical. You're saying that number 17 should be? Maybe why? Have you got the answer here?
Leaching fertilizer on the water.
Here. Natural soil fertilizer is dropping in many. This one. Here. Industrial fertilizer and pesticides, while the growth of algae is increasing in lakes because of fertilizer runoff. Fertilizer is a kind of a chemical.
Yes.
I think this one.
Yeah.
I think this one. So this one is what?
B.
We got the answer. A mention of a Chemical effect. So this is, we should write what? Let me write it here. B. Is the B. You know, we got the answers. Okay, the next one. Let's read. Let's read C. So put it all together and it looks like a battlefield. But consumers rarely make the connection at the dinner table. This is mainly because the cost of all this damage are what economists refer to as externalities. Means externalities, what?
Customers,
The effects, but the not direct.
subsidiary.
The subsidiary, you know, the periphery that remains in the partial. You know, they are outside the main transaction payment, which is, for example, producing and selling a field of wheat. We don't care. We don't, you know, we are not thinking about that, and are borne directly by neither producer nor consumer. To many, the costs may not even appear to be financial at all, but merely aesthetics. You know, because you are destroying the, you know, fields. A terrible shame. But nothing to do with money. It's not about doing the money. And anyway, they, as consumers of food, certainly aren't paying for it. Are they? They're questioning. Are they paying it or they're not paying it? Okay, so what we have read, they're talking about some kind of hidden cost. I believe something. Let's see. So, are we getting it?
Number 16.
This
16.
one will be 16.
You might the term used to describe hidden cost. So which one could be the hidden cost? Which term? Any term? I think this one,
externalities, yeah.
Yeah, could be, because these are the hidden costs. All the costs we are not counting, but these are the costs we are indirectly paying because our environment is degrading. Okay, so what? Which one? I believe this one. So it should be C. Okay, so we can cross it out. We can cross it out and we can write it here. Okay. Then what else? Okay, so we are done with what? C and B, 16, 17. Let's move on to the next one. So we are done with here. C and I think B. We're done. Let's move on to this one, D. Okay, but the cost of society can actually be quantified, and when added up, can amount to staggering sums. They say something like that. Whether it's, I don't know. Did we read anything? Oh no, Professor Pretty. What we read? Do you remember summary?
Yeah, there's a
Professor concludes that then hire most people really, because we make 3 different types. Okay, we are looking for 3 different types, and yes, no, not given. The taste of food, cost of are widely recognized. Okay, let's see. You know, we'll come to that. Don't worry about that. So here, let's finish this one. But the cost of sale can actually be quantified and added up can amount to staggering amount. Staggering means a large amount. A remarkable exercise in doing this has been carried out by one of the world's leading thinkers on the future of agriculture, Professor Julius Pretty, Director of the Center of Environmental and Society at the University of Essex. Professor Pretty and his colleagues calculated the externalities of British agriculture for one particular year. So they calculated. They added up the cost of repairing the damage it caused and came up with a total figure of million. It's a big amount. This is equivalent to pound 2008 for every hectare of arable land and permanent pasture. Almost as much again as the total government and the EU spent on British farming in that year. And the permanent pasture almost as much again as the total government and EU spent. Okay, and according to Professor, it was a conservative estimate. Conservative means It was a rough estimate. Conservative means rough. You know, and conservative means they were not that much precise. And conservative means they didn't go for extreme measures. Conservative. Then what we talked about? They talked about is, I think, the damage caused.
Yeah.
So do you have it here? D. Did we mention anything?
No, sir. But there's a true false not given. The last true false not given.
Okay,
so
we'll work it out. We'll remember that. Yeah. Okay. So let's finish this one. Usually it's better not to cross, because what might happen, you might lose track. There could be a possibility. I'm not saying that all the time, because usually if you find one, the other one, it should be. What about E? The cost included 120 million for removal of pesticides, dollar at the removal of nitrates, at the removal of phosphates and soil, and at the million for the removal of bug something from drinking water by water companies, at the million for damage to wildlife habitats. You see, they're using later on they're using these chemicals, but it's costing. But we know that, you know, it was okay. And row and walls. Gas is likely to contribute to climate change, at the soil erosion, organic carbon losses, at the for food poisoning at the farm. You see all these costs. Professor Piri draws a simple but memorable conclusion from all this. Our food bills are actually threefold. Here. You know, 3 payment, remember? I think this is for, yes, for
Summary.
For summary. Okay, this is. So we can even put another mark here. Okay, now what we are doing, we are paying for our supposedly cheaper food in 3 separate ways. 3. Once over the counter, secondly through our taxes, which provide the enormous subsidies propping up modern intensive farming, and thirdly to clean up the mess that modern farming leaves behind. Okay, can we find any of these? You know, we are looking for E. It's easy.
I
The
think
cost
it's
of
the
involved 14.
The stages of developing.
No, it's a 14. How much we cost on purifying domestic
water?
It's mentioning here. Yes.
Drinking
Where is that?
Drinking water.
Water. This one. They mentioned the money, 23 million. So this is what? This is
14.
E. This is E. So we are looking for the stages in development of farming, the stages of development. Is it the stages? Listen, sometimes what happens, you see, you may use 2 letters more than once. You get my point?
Yeah. So it could be 14,
what about
15?
15? Can we, have you read it or have you missed it? Can we read paragraph B again? Can we see we missed it? It's very common.
B.
We're looking for only B. We are talking about the stages. Here they mention, see, this could be a challenge during the exam. So
industry.
What? Okay, we already got this one, huh? This was E. I think this one E. The stages in the development of farming industry. How? What was the stages in development? Is there any stages in the development of farming industry?
In the paragraph B, there is first mechanism, then
the first mechanism, then the then the
battery
monoculture,
rearing, then battery rearing of livestock,
and the genetic engineering. They onwards. That's a as a years of for many of the. So the at least the stages.
Yes.
The mass use of chemical. This is okay. It's the stages.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this could be an answer for
B.
B. B. Okay, so they're saying that this is also belongs to
B.
B. So it was a little bit difficult for us. Huh? The stages. Did they mention stages in the development farming? Okay, so we first started the mechanization.
Yeah.
Then we came for
battery rearing of livestock.
okay, chemical. Then
And
monocultures and the
genetic,
battery
yeah.
rearing of livestock, and now genetic. This is the last. All these stages.
Yeah.
We this one, and then later on, then this one, then this one. Okay, these are the stages. Okay, we can't help it. Okay, so the answer, we left it, and in the last two you wouldn't have found it. So the answer is like that. Okay, now let's move on to what? Yes, no, not given. So several species of wildlife that is declining. So where did he find it? Do you remember?
Several
Farmland vanished. This one.
Hmm.
This one. I think we found it here. Is it true? Several species of wildlife in the country declined.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, true, sir.
18. So 18, where is that 18? This is 18, huh? There they say. You see here? While we were reading, we found it. Here. We read it. Here. In Britain, for example, many of our best loved farmland birds, grey partridge and laughing and corn, have vanished from large stretches of countryside. This is enough. So we found it, so it should be what? True.
True.
What about the next one?
Yeah,
The taste
given.
of food has deteriorated in recent. Did they mention anything like that?
No, not given.
I don't think so. We haven't. It's not mentioned. So I think they mentioned about other case, but not the food. The taste. I think it has deteriorated. Taste.
Sir, I don't think so.
Has it? No.
Because
No.
Sir, we did.
No. We are talking about the taste. It's not about when we make the food. The quality of food has increased. The taste, but the taste of food has deteriorated. Oh no, it's not about fruits. It's not about vegetables. It's about the taste. Okay, so it's
as a whole, yeah.
Okay, fine. I understand what you mean. So it's not given. I believe it's not given.
Yes.
Nothing has been. The financial costs have had widely recognized. Has it
No,
been?
sir. No, sir. It is also conservatively recognized. So it's
no. Widely is conservative. Widely means everybody have recognized.
No, sir.
Is it? So
No.
where can we find it?
Yeah, in the paragraph E maybe, where Professor Preeti just make a deduction.
C. Let's see. There could be a C little bit of that. Can we check it? Let's read it. Put it all together. It looks like a battlefield, but consumers rarely make the connection at the dinner table. This is mainly because the cost of all damages are. Listen, you'll have to read it fast.
Yeah.
You can't guess. This is the problem. Once we're done here, read it fast and try to find it out. So what we're looking for, that whether it's recognized. There could be another word, but consumers rarely make the connection to the. This is mainly the cost of all damages, particularly referred to as externality. They're considered. So which is example, it's not recognized because these externalities directly neither producer nor consumer. Too many costs are not even appear to the financial at all, but merely aesthetic. It's not recognized because there people are thinking it's what financial rather than it's aesthetic rather than financial. A terrible shame, but nothing. Anyways, the consumers certainly are not paying for that, aren't they? They're not sure about. So what? I think what the answer is
no.
No, it's no. What about the last one? Is one of the costs calculated by Professor was illness caused by one of the costs. Did he mention any cost? Okay,
yes,
so
sir.
it should be here.
True.
So where did he mention the cost?
Sir, in the paragraph
E.
The cost is include.
What about food? Illness.
No. Yes, sir. Cattle disease. Cattle disease in the sixth line.
Sorry.
Or food deals.
Okay, it's hanged up. Sorry.
No, sir.
What can I do? Should I start it again? I think.
No problem, sir.
What can I do now? It will take time. I don't know how much time it will take.
You can, sorry, you can just open.
Again. Let me keep me open again. Wait. Let me close it. Stop sharing. Okay, just a moment. Give me one more.
Okay, no problem, sir. Sir, Samin ভাইয়ের পরীক্ষা কেমন হয়েছে?
His probably in writing what happened, he took 30 minutes for task 1. Task 1. So he had problem with task 2. And the speaking was okay. You know, he's not very happy with that. Other than that, let's see what happens. You know, you can't help it. You can't help it.
Where was the center, sir? In Dhanmondi?
Oh, center was in Dhanmondi, yes. In Dhanmondi.
Okay.
Near, I think, near Dhanmondi. Okay, so we are here. Okay, so now we are looking for E. Here you see there was a mention. So you'll have to keep on reading. You get my point? Don't guess it. Don't guess it. You'll have to come. Be fast reader. Did they mention any cost from we are looking for? What? We are looking for different. Okay, one cost calculator was illness caused by food.
Sir, share the screen, please.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I thought that is there.
But it would be definitely true.
You can say it?
Yes, sir.
You can say it?
Yes, sir.
Here. I think it's there. 169 from food poisoning.
And cattle disease.
You know, food poisoning. Food poisoning means one of the illness caused by food. So this one.
That's true.
Okay, so this is what? This is true. I think this is true. Okay. So we're done with this one. So what about the summary? What about this one? Summary. Summary. Okay, the professor. Listen, I have a video. Would you like to see a video? It's pretty good for task 2. Can you do this, you know, at home? This part?
Yes, sir.
I'll send you the answer. It's not very difficult, huh? So why don't you check out that video? That will be more useful, I believe, huh? You let it be a homework. Once you get it, you know, once you're getting, and you'll have to, and I'll be sending the answers as well, huh? Okay, that will be better. So I suggest that. Why don't you go for a video, huh? Because it's a little bit long video, so it will take almost up to 9:15.
The video consists of what, sir?
It's a general. They will write the whole essay for us. Huh? It's a good. They're saying that you will get a 9. If you write this one, they will get a 9. No, sometimes it's better to check out their video as well. It might help us. Okay. So I would like to go there. Okay, let me see whether I have it. Okay, wait. Let me see whether I have it. This one. Okay, we will check out this video. Just a moment. Oh, wait. Stop. Okay, can you say it?
Yeah.
Can you say it? Can you hear the audio?
For the IELTS test. I'm making this video to show you how I write this essay so that you can learn from it and so that you can write a high scoring, hopefully band 9 essay when you take your test. Stick around to the end of this video because at the end of this video I'm going to share with you my top 3 suggestions when writing an essay.
I can see it.
Okay, let's start by conforming. In this video, we're going to see how. We're going to be looking at one of the recent tasks in an IELTS test from Cambridge Book 14. Now this means that this question conforms to the latest specifications for the IELTS test. I'm making this video to show you how I write this essay so that you can learn from it and so that you can write a high scoring, hopefully band 9 essay when you take your test. Stick around to the end of this video because at the end of this video I'm going to share with you my top 3 suggestions when writing an essay.
Everything is okay?
Okay, let's start by looking at our task instructions. We've got our topic up here and the question in here. Let's start with the topic. Some people believe that it is best to accept a bad situation, such as an unsatisfactory job or shortage of money. Others argue that it is better to try and improve such situations. And then our question words down here discuss both these views and give your own opinion. Okay, so this is what I call a both sides an opinion essay. Right, a both sides an opinion essay. What are the 2 views? Well, here's one of them. Accept a bad situation. This such as part. This is just an example. You're not required to respond to these exact words, but these ones you are. So the first view is accept a bad situation, and the other view is to discuss whether it's better to try and improve such situations. Okay, so that's the 2 views you need to write about, and you must also give your own opinion. Okay, so this is a both sides an opinion essay. There's other types of questions that only ask for your opinion. This is asking for 2 views and your opinion, and you should be very clear about what the topic is and also what you need to do with the topic, and in this case it's discuss.
Okay, so here we are discussing an essay. This is a very common one. Discuss both views and give your opinion. You must give your opinion. You get my point? They are asking, but at the same time, there are 2, and then, when you discuss both the options, you must understand what are the 2 options. You must also present your views on that, and a balanced one and also opinion. Let's see. Can you listen? Everything is clear, the audio? Is it clear?
Yeah. I mean, so echoing, I mean, double voice. I think it would be better if everyone's microphone is muted.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Everybody.
Discussing both the views and giving your own opinion. This is going to affect the structure of your essay. Just a couple of quick comments about this task. So it's a both sides an opinion essay. I think the other thing I want to mention, it's quite a difficult topic because it's quite hard to think of reasons why people might accept bad situations. It seems to me counterintuitive, which just means it sort of goes against my instinct or natural beliefs. Now, I always think it's a good idea at the start when you're planning your essay to do the paraphrasing, to think what the key words are and how you can paraphrase these in your essay. Okay, so it's good to do this at the start. Why? Because it'll help you think about the task a bit more, so you'll understand the task instructions more clearly. Plus, you're going to need the paraphrased words as soon as you start writing your essay. You're going to need them in the introduction. The introduction is the best place to show your ability to paraphrase to the examiner, to show that you have talent with vocabulary. Okay, so I always like to do this right at the start, certainly before you start writing. Just have a look at the task instructions a bit more deeply and think about what you can paraphrase. So let's look at some of the keywords that we want to be paraphrasing, or at least attempting to paraphrase in this topic. So first of all, some people believe this is not key. Best is probably important, and accept, important, bad, situation. We don't need to underline this is just an example, it's not critical. Others argue that it is better, others argue that it is better to try and improve such situations. Okay, so these are the key words that we want to be paraphrasing in our introduction, and also these are the key words, these tell us what the topic is about. Okay, so let's see how to paraphrase some of these key words.
Okay, did we understand the topic today? You know? Hello? So
Yes,
one
sir.
situation is you don't have the education, you are not getting a good job, and so should you be happy with that, or you will always try to?
I mean, try
improve.
to accept it. Yeah, improve the situation.
So one thing is that you accept it, you give it up. Okay, this is my best. Or you should keep on improving, try
Searching
to
for,
find
yeah.
better job, better
Yes, sir.
career, more education and like that. Okay, let's see.
From the task instructions. So, accept a bad situation. I have got in response to that circumstances. And then later over here, better to try and improve such situations. I've got better to try to seek solutions instead of improve such situations. I've got situations still here. That could be paraphrased to circumstances. I just did a quick paraphrase like I would if I was doing this task in the test under timed conditions. Of course, if you sit there for 1 hour, you can come up with some better paraphrases. Okay, so I'm trying to simulate the real test here. Okay, and then I've also paraphrased the question a bit. This essay discusses both perspectives. So sides has become perspectives. And then for the word opinion, this word opinion, well, I just put what my opinion is down here and why I believe that the arguments for seeking solutions are stronger. Okay, and the seeking solutions is actually paraphrasing improve such situations. Put your best paraphrases into the introduction, and if you've got some other paraphrases that are not quite as good, they can go in the body of the essay. The reason why I say that is twofold. First of all, you want to show the examiner your best ability to paraphrase in the introduction, and secondly, make sure that you accurately paraphrase the topic in your introduction. You don't want to be risking changing the topic.
Okay, so they're mentioning, you see, if you read this one, you'll be able to understand what was the question clearly and discuss both views. They're saying, you see, they're giving you the answer. This essay discusses both perspectives, so I'm giving and give your opinion. I'm also giving my opinion here very clearly. So it is very important to give the answers. Whatever they're asking, you must give the answers. Other than that, you risk, losing marks.
Will lower your score for task response and cohesion and coherence and possibly vocabulary. So you want your best paraphrasing to be in the introduction of your essay. Now you also want to have a plan of the main points of your essay. Now this essay has two sides to it, and the ideal number of main points in response to each of the sides is two, exactly two. One is often not enough, and it's risky. If you don't have a good one, then your eggs are all in one basket, and you may not get a good score for task response. Another problem with one is sometimes you have to stretch out what you're saying, and maybe the development of your argument is not ideal. It's too long-winded. The second reason why 2 is the ideal number, or perhaps a better way to say it is the reason why 3 points is not ideal is it results in insufficient development of your main ideas, or a very long essay, both of which are not ideal. Okay, so let's see what our points are. Accepting of bad situations.
What they say is better not to go for many reasons. If you go for many reasons, what might happen? You won't be able to develop that idea. Three reasons, you have a limited time. Get my point?
Yes,
Get
sir.
my point? So they're mentioning
Yeah.
both of that. So instead of going for 3, they went for as long as you develop the idea, that will be fine. Develop the idea. Huh? So this is your planning process.
Quite difficult to come up with ideas, but I've got a couple here. The first one is that we often just can't avoid bad situations.
I think the situation is almost like our COVID-19. We try to, we can't help it. We can't avoid it. And if we don't accept the bad situation, stress, it's getting up. And we are trying, but even if you're trying, I think it's akin a bit of ours in a COVID.
So we have to be accepting of them because they're going to happen. It's part of life. And then the second one is that if we're accepting of bad situations when they do happen, it can help reduce stress. Sort of the idea that freaking out or reacting too strongly to bad situations is resulting in stress, and if we can just be a little bit accepting, then our stress levels will be much lower. Now, then with the other side of the argument that it's better to try and improve such situations, I've got 2 ideas again. The first one I've got is eustress, or eustress. There's sort of 2 pronunciations that I've heard for this word. And this is a kind of positive stress. Okay, positive stress. Up here, this is going to be the sort of...
you know about this word, eustress? Have you heard this word before?
Positive stress?
Yeah, eustress. I didn't know that.
No, I don't have.
Okay, eustress is a positive stress. Okay, anyways, let's see.
Typically use negative stress. This is a positive stress. Okay, so we're going to talk about the positive bodily stressful reactions that occur when we try and improve situations. And another point is that by trying to improve such situations, we can divert some of our negative emotions. Okay? These points might be difficult to see now, but once you see them in context, in my model answer, they're going to make more sense to you. All right, so let's see our model answer. I'll just go quickly through the introduction. Some believe that it's important to be accepting of negative circumstances when they occur, whereas others emphasize that it's better to try to seek solutions in such situations. This essay discusses both perspectives and why I believe that the arguments for seeking solutions are stronger. So the introduction accomplishes 2 things. We paraphrase the topic so that the reader, the examiner, knows what the topic is, and then we indicate clearly what the essay is about, both perspectives and our opinion. Now we want to begin the first body paragraph, which is going to be about the first perspective of being accepting of circumstances. We want to start off with a sentence that signals this to the reader so that the reader knows what the paragraph is about. There are 2 main reasons why people believe that we must be accepting of bad circumstances. So this sentence is telling the reader that there's two main reasons in this paragraph about why we must be, or why we should accept bad circumstances. Let's now see the first reason, and note the linking phrase first of all that I use to introduce the first point. First of all, we often cannot avoid bad situations. And now the development of this point, since these situations can't always be avoided, it is best to just accept the reality. For instance, economic downturns can lead to the company we work for going bankrupt. And in this signaled by first of all, then a bit of an explanation, and then an example.
That's a diction. You know, this is the.
Let's now look at the second.
Let's now look at the second. You know, this is the topic sentence. You know, if you read this sentence, we know they are going to give two ideas. First of all, this is a linking word. And this is the first topic sentence, and this explanation. You must understand which explanation. Don't just then give an example. For instance, economic data is the example, but that's the extension. So we are done with what? The first one probably. Now we'll go to the second one, the second reason.
Second point, which I introduce with the phrase, in addition. These linking phrases are essential for getting a good score for cohesion and coherence. In addition, unnecessary stress can be caused by dwelling on our current circumstances. If we are accepting of our circumstances, this can allow us to maintain a positive, continue enjoying our life despite a setback. Okay, so that's the paragraph done, and now we're going to move on to body paragraph 2. Now we need to move on to the other side, essential.
Here, this is since the situation can be, so for instance, what's the second one? The first one. In addition, where's that?
Getting a good score for cohesion and coherent mood, and to continue enjoying our life despite a setback. Okay,
this is the second one. In addition, these are connecting words. This is the topic sentence for the second idea. So we are accepting this can. Okay, so they didn't give the example. You know, they explain.
So that's the paragraph done, and now we're going to move on to body paragraph 2. Now we need to move on to the other side of the argument. And I'm going to indicate this to the reader by using the word however to indicate that we're now turning on to some contradictory information, which is the other side of the argument. However, others argue that we should have a proactive attitude and find solutions to any negative predicament. Okay, so now I've indicated to the reader that I've switched to the other side of the argument. The main benefit of this approach is that it may lead to eustress, which helps us to motivate us to find solutions. For instance, note how I haven't repeated the phrase for example, and instead I'm using now for instance. This is also helpful for your score for cohesion and coherence to show a range of linking
now we are using for instance
phrases and not just get stuck on the same one. If we lose our job, we should focus on finding a new job to solve the problem of being unemployed. And now I'm going to move on to a second point. Additionally, Okay, so this time I haven't used an addition, I've rephrased to additionally. You could have moreover. The point is you want to show a range of linking phrases to the examiner in order to score well for cohesion and coherence. Focusing on solutions can divert some of our negative emotions, such as a feeling of bad luck or guilt, into more positive emotions, such as feelings of empowerment and our ability to solve our problems. Alright, so that's the other side of the argument covered. And now we want to move on to our conclusion. Now, for this type of essay, our conclusion is where we need to give our own opinion, and we want to make sure that we get our opinion in right at the start of the paragraph so that the whole paragraph becomes our opinion. One sentence about your opinion is not enough. Well, it's enough if you only want 6. If you want higher than 6, we need more than one sentence for our opinion. Why? Because our opinion is one of the 3 requirements of this essay we're asked to discuss. Both sides, there's 2 requirements each side, and give our own opinion. This is where we do it. In conclusion, comma. This phrase signals the start of the concluding paragraph to the reader. I suggest you use this identical phrase for every single essay that you write. It doesn't matter the question type as you can. In conclusion, I suggest you stay away from phrases like in a nutshell or to recapitulate. Phrases are not as good. They may seem good to you if you're a non-native English writer, but if you're a native writer, it's much better to use in conclusion. I would avoid the words to summarise, because sometimes you're going to be summarising in the final paragraph, sometimes you're not. In this case, we're not. I believe both sides of the argument have merits. Okay, this is a useful phrase to write because obviously they do.
There? Hello?
Yes, sir.
We've just mentioned the merits of each side of the argument in the body of the essay, so it's good to acknowledge this. However, I believe it's better to focus on finding solutions because it increases the likelihood of solving our problems and maintaining a positive mental attitude, which is far more important than the benefits of avoiding stress through being accepting of our circumstances. Now, I'd just like to explain a few quick points about this concluding paragraph because I think it can really help you with your essays. So, I signalled the start of the essay here in conclusion. Now I've acknowledged that each side of the argument has merits. You can do this with every single essay of this type that you write because you're always covering each side of the argument. Then I think it's best to pick a side and say why that side is stronger. I think this ends with a better result in most cases than just saying they're both equally important or something like that. So what I like to do is say which side of the argument I think is stronger. I'm not saying that that side of the argument is what I believe is the only one to be true or something like that. I'm just saying basically what I've said already is that each side of the argument has merits. Now I'm giving my opinion, which I've been asked for, about which side I think is stronger. And this is what I do here. It's better to focus on finding solutions, and then I give a reason why, and then extend this even further using the word which and saying which is why it's more important. Okay, I use a comparative phrase here, and comparative phrases are very useful. So really I've got sort of 2 things that are comparing. Increases the likelihood of solving our problems, mean that it's always a better solution, but it increases the likelihood of it. And it's far more important than avoiding stress, right, which is the other side of the argument, right? So I'm saying it increases the likelihood and that it's more important than just avoiding the benefits. and then the essay's done, and then the last thing you would do if you're taking your real test is to proofread what you've written to try and catch any small little mistakes or any big huge mistakes. Basically for me there are 4 key parts to a concluding paragraph for this type of essay. Signal the start. I did that within conclusion. Say both sides have merits. I did that in the first sentence. Then state which side of the argument is stronger. I did that here. It's better to focus on finding solutions. Notice the comparative here as well, better. And then this part's really, really important. A lot of people say what their opinion is, but then they don't say why. Well, that's really not enough to be getting to 7 and beyond. Now, when it comes to the structure of this essay, it's quite simple, really. We want to have the opening paragraph be the introduction, rephrases the topic, and introduces the question. Then, in our second paragraph, we want to cover the first side of the argument. Then the next paragraph covers the second side of the argument. Then finally we want to have a concluding paragraph, which is where we state our opinion. Now, the structure of the essay is where the examiner is going to focus in terms of cohesion and coherence, and as well as this, they're going to be looking for linking words within paragraphs, and let's just see if we've got a few of those. Well, we've got this essay discusses, so this sends a signal to the reader that the sentence is about what the essay is about. To this side of the argument. Here's a linking phrase, first of all, and then we've got, for instance, to develop this, next main point in addition, okay, then however, to signal to the reader that we're switching to the other side of the argument, and this is also indicated here, find solutions. Okay, up here I had first of all, I don't repeat that, instead I say the main benefit, and then here we had in addition, here we've got additionally, okay, signal the start of the conclusion, in conclusion, alright, both sides have merits, and then the use of however to suggest that there's some my opinion about which one's better. And then vocabulary, let's just go through real quick and see if we can spot any high-level vocabulary that will contribute to getting a high score. Well, we do it in the first paragraph with the paraphrasing, of course, and I just worry about the introduction. Sort of linked to that idea. Hard done by, idiomatic expression, always good to have idiomatic expressions if using informal words in a formal essay like this. We've got dwelling, setback maybe, and then let's look at the next paragraph. Next paragraph probably has a bit more high-level language in it. We've got the proactive attitude, that's quite nice. Predicament, you get in a predicament, you're sort of in a sticky situation or a problematic situation. This eustress is a useful word. Essentially, the key point about eustress is the body experiences some kind of changes when it experiences stress, and we often think of these as being negative, but sometimes they can actually be positive. Let me give you an example with your exam. If you're taking the exam, students feel nervous, they feel anxiety. This can result in negative things. But it could also result in positive. You might find that you get a bit of a surge of adrenaline and you have more energy when you take a test, and maybe suddenly you can think more clearly as a result of all of this. Some people come out of their test and they know they had a great performance, and they know that they're performing better than they normally do, and this is sort of the result of eustress, about the stressful situation. What else do I like in this paragraph? This feeling of empowerment is quite nice. Feelings of empowerment, that's not bad language. I guess the best word is this eustress up here. Okay, and then how about our concluding paragraph? So with the conclusion, we've got merits here rather than advantages. Merits is good, and if it's disadvantages, you can go with drawbacks. And we've got a positive mental attitude. These words co-locate well and they're quite useful. No doubt if you had a couple of hours to write this essay, you could come up with some more high-level language to pack into it. And then how about grammar? Let's look at the essay again and just make a couple of quick comments about grammar. So really what the examiner is looking for is a range of sentence types, and they're particularly looking for complex sentences, which are sentences that have dependent clauses in them. So you can see that first sentence is quite a long sentence. The use of whereas in there is quite useful to extend that sentence. Here's what I mean by dependent clause. When you see a word like since or because, this creates dependent clauses. Since these situations can't always be avoided. So this is an unfinished idea. It's a dependent clause. And then we have the independent clause over here. It's best to just accept the reality. So it's best to just accept the reality. This is an independent clause. It can stand on its own. It could be a sentence on its own. This underlined part is not. It's dependent. It's an unfinished idea. Since these situations can't always be avoided, the listener or reader is waiting for the idea to be completed. Another good way to create complex sentences, or sentences that have a dependent clause in them, or sentences that have an unfinished idea in them, is to use if phrases. These are called conditionals. And I strongly suggest that you learn how to use these and then use these in your essays. This is a great word because when I'm examining, I see the word if and I look carefully to see if the student has used, or I should really say if the candidate has used this word correctly in their essay. And if they have, it suggests that they might be a level 7. If they haven't, it suggests that they're not. So we've got this if phrase, if we're accepting of our circumstances. So all of this is the dependent phrase. The idea is unfinished. The listener, the reader is waiting to hear how this idea gets finished. We couldn't just end the sentence here. So we've got if we're accepting of our circumstances, this can allow us to maintain a positive mood and to continue enjoying our life despite a setback. So the underlined part is the dependent clause. The other part of it is an independent clause. It could be able to stand on its own. And then moving to the next paragraph, again we've got another if phrase. So again, creating a dependent clause, a complex sentence, an unfinished idea. If we lose our job, okay, so that's our independent part there. Another really good way to create complex sentences is to use relative pronouns. Here we've got one which. Okay, and the which is now, what the relative pronoun does is it allows us to add information about the subject. The subject's here in blue. Really, this is the key part to it, maintaining a positive mental attitude, which is far more important than the benefits of avoiding stress. Okay, so again, we're creating a complex sentence. This time we're doing it with the word which. Okay, so I hope you found this video useful. As I mentioned at the start, I'm going to give you my 3 top suggestions when writing an essay. These are: 1. To make a plan. Make sure you make a plan before you start writing your essay. This will save you time, this will help you to have a better task response and to get a higher score in your test. The second suggestion is to paraphrase. Show the examiner your ability to paraphrase given words in the introduction of your essay. Also, throughout the body of your essay, show the ability to paraphrase and not repeat words over and over again. This increases your score. The ability to paraphrase is one of the indicators of a high level of vocabulary. It's a skill. It's not easy. If you practice it and perfect it, it will help you to get a higher score in your test. My third suggestion is to try and allow time at the end of your test to proofread your writing. Why? Because this will help you to get rid of some of the common mistakes, maybe spelling mistakes, grammatical errors such as the usage of articles, or maybe just something major that you've overlooked. Maybe you had an idea, you wrote a sentence, but you accidentally missed a key word out of this sentence. So it's extremely important to proofread your writing, to take some of these minor errors out of your sentences, and possibly even that there may be a major error and you might need to find this and correct this so that you can avoid your score coming down. I hope you found this video useful. If you've got any suggestions for videos that you'd like me to make, please make a comment. As well as this, please subscribe to me. This way you'll get updates every time I release a new video. At the moment, I'm aiming to make about 3 videos per week. Hopefully I'll do even better than that. This is Mike Watty from IELTS Answers. I'm giving you the answers you need to do well in your test.
আব্দুল্লাহ ভাই আছেন?
স্যার আছে হ্যাঁ।
আচ্ছা, এমনি কি was it a little bit, was it a good one or no?
Good one. It's clearly indicates the every section, every parts, and everything.
I'm not saying it's the best, but at least this helps. You know, getting different perspective.
Yeah, I think
here we understood that you should write what they want.
Yes, sir.
Every sentence. In every sentence, there must be a reason why I'm writing this one. You know, basically, you know, we think we are going to write something very extraordinary, but within that 40 minutes, at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're answering what they're asking. This is very important. The examiners are clearly looking for those answers. You know, when they're marking, they have what? You know, criteria. They want to check whether you are fulfilling those criteria. Even if you write in Bengali, this one, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Introduction, we must be very clear what we're going to write for the introduction. It's not going to be every time we are going to write different kind of introductions for different things. You know, I don't know what happens during the exam. No, probably in IELTS, the basic things must be there. There could be some differences, but I think, you know, the basic, you must be knowing what you're doing. That's very important.
Sir,
anything you want to add up?
We faced some problem during the video session. The writing, I mean, the lines were obscure. and also it's difficult to assume. I mean, all the perspective like you. Every time we can have a chance to ask you. I mean, it's interactive, but here
Okay,
we
okay.
and I didn't understand many things. Ashna also said.
No, but I'll be sending it to you. This
Okay, sir.
video. You can then check it another time.
Okay, sir.
Hopefully.
But
But
I
if
mean,
you have any problem, just contact. We can even one-to-one. We can discuss
sir.
any issue, any problem, any particular problem. So tomorrow, are we going to have a grammar session?
Yes, sir. Inshallah.
Okay, listen. We are going to have. We can add something. We are going to have what? We are going to have a tense tomorrow. Tense. You get my point? Tomorrow we were supposed to start tense. Then I will add
Yes,
up
sir.
something that we can use in IELTS. Huh?
Okay, sir.
A little bit more, and we can even, he talked about conditional sentence.
Now, sir, I think it would be, I mean, easier if we just, start from the basic, like you said, say tense, and yeah. So I think you understand, sir. Hello.
I think there is a problem in the internet.
Maybe connection problem.
Okay. So, sir, I think.
What about it?
What do we have to do?
Wait for 1 minute. Okay, let me call teacher. What happened?
Okay.
Yes. হ্যাঁ, আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার। ও আচ্ছা, তাহলে কি স্যার আমরা ওয়েট করবো নাকি হচ্ছে স্যার ইয়ে করবো? আমরা লিভ করি তাহলে। আচ্ছা স্যার, থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার। আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
Okay, bye.
ঠিক আছে তাহলে আসসালামু আলাইকুম। Ashna, sir told us to leave.
Okay, thank you, bye.
Okay.